So the third shot drop is the hardest shot in pickleball, right? Well, maybe not. So mastering the third shot drop can be one of the most important skill sets that you develop for your pickleball game. In this video, I'm gonna give you my 3 steps to be able to take your drop from beginner level all the way up to an advanced or pro level drop. So for step 1 in the process, we're gonna wanna focus on mastering the basics. First, we're gonna focus on keeping the tip of the paddle down and keeping no backswing. This is the simplest way to hit the shot. What I'm gonna focus on while I'm doing this is 2 main things. Number 1, the power that I'm delivering into the ball, and number 2, the height that I'm hitting it over the net. Those are the things that I'm constantly gauging and adjusting. For power, it's gonna be a matter of how hard are we pushing or how quickly are we moving through that ball. And for height, we're gonna have to play with that face angle of the paddle. The more you open it, the more it's gonna go up. The more you close it, the more it's gonna flatten out. As I'm in this rally, I'm making constant adjustments to power and height until I get the way that I want it. So that's too high, so I'm gonna bring that face angle down. There we go. That's too much power, so now I'm gonna soften up a little bit. That's too little power. So every shot, just watching what it does and adjusting for the next ball.
New Jersey.
So now that we got the basics down for step 2 in the process, we're gonna learn to add some variety to the shot. Topspin and underspin. Let's talk about topspin first. We're gonna make 2 minor adjustments to start to create a little bit of topspin. So number 1, we're gonna square up the face angle. And number 2, we're gonna steepen the path, or we're gonna swing up the back of the ball more. If my basic drop is an open face and a path that way, then I'm gonna square up the face angle and I'm gonna brush up the back of the ball a little bit more. So here's what a topspin drop would look like compared to just my standard no spin.
Serve.
There we go.
So you can see that I've got a little bit of a flatter face and I'm brushing up the back of the ball a little bit more. The advantages of topspin are I can hit the ball a little bit more aggressively. The drop is gonna come in a little bit more aggressively, but the disadvantage is there's a little more risk reward factor. If I make it, it's gonna be harder for my opponent to deal with. But in general, I see this as kind of a higher risk shot that I'm probably gonna miss more often than I'm gonna miss just my basic drop that I'm just kind of pushing in there.
Serving on the left in the blue.
So as you can see from the collection behind me, I love my SELKIRK paddles. They're super high quality, made in America, they play great, and they have one of the best warranties in all of pickleball. No matter what's your level, playing style, or price range, SELKIRK has something that'll work for you. Check out their website to see what's available, and make sure to use my code here so you can get your free gift card at checkout. For our next one, let's talk about underspin. What is our underspin drop gonna do? Well, the main difference of how we're gonna approach it is we're gonna now open the face angle more. We're also gonna bring the wrist up a little bit more. So rather than paddle down, we're gonna bring that wrist up, open face angle. And now, because the paddle face is creating all the loft, we can have a little bit more of a level swing. We don't need to have such a steep swing. So here's what that underspin drop is gonna look like.
That expression on the court today.
So you can see on those, I'm not chopping down on it too much. I'm not overdoing it. Opening up the face angle, keeping the swing fairly level, and I'm just letting the paddle do all the work, letting the ball kind of slide across, and that spin will just happen naturally. You don't have to force it too much. So now that we know how to do both, the common question that I get a lot is, which spin is better, which type of shot is better. And I don't like to think of it in those terms of one being better than the other. When we add all of these options to our game, you're gonna find that some work better in certain situations than others. When I'm hitting straight ahead or inside out, it's a little more natural for me to use kind of a topspin rolling motion. When I'm hitting across my body or cross court, I like to use my open paddle face slicing motion. So again, it's not about better or worse. It's about what fits with that shot in that scenario. So here's kind of what that looks like. So now that we've learned to hit the different options and we've learned the execution, the next step is deciding where we're gonna hit our third shot drop. And I've got 3 main rules that I like to follow in order to determine this. Number 1, I call it confidence trumps strategy. By that, I mean, you can get with your partner and determine a strategy that you think is gonna work, but the most important thing is, where is your favorite drop? If I love to drop inside out and I know I can make that drop in my forehand 9 out of 10 times, even if the strategy would maybe be better to go to a different spot, I'm always gonna defer to what is my favorite drop. If I can make it and I can make it at a high clip, then I'm just gonna stick with that, even if it maybe doesn't fit perfectly with what our strategy is. Now, the second option, long-term, is if I can practice all of my drops and get equally as comfortable hitting any drop in any situation, then I'm gonna wanna get with my partner and decide, where do we wanna hit it? There's a few different things that will lead us to this decision. Number 1, who do we think has a more dangerous fourth shot? So if one of our opponents is really good at reaching in and attacking or taking that ball off the bounce, then we're gonna wanna play to their partner. Who's taller, who's longer, maybe who has an Ernie threat. These are all things that we're gonna take into account when we're deciding where we're gonna try to take that third shot. With all things being equal, I'm usually gonna hit my drops cross court. And there's a couple reasons for this. Number 1, we've got a longer distance cross court, which means we've got more margin for error. We can air that ball out a little bit more because it's traveling across the kitchen. It gives us a little more room to play with. Number 2, hitting cross court has us hitting over the middle of the net, which is the lowest part of the net. Again, creating more margin for error. Number 3, if we hit cross court, it takes away our opponent's option to Ernie. So if you're hitting right down the line and you put that ball a little too close to the sideline, your opponent may have a good Ernie opportunity for that shot. Versus if you hit cross court, since it's coming in on an angle, they're not gonna be able to Ernie it, even if you put it way over close to the corner of the sideline. And the last one, and maybe the most important, is when you go cross court, your partner can help protect you in the transition. And what I mean by that is, like we talked about earlier, if I'm trying to transition up, if I put my shot cross court and my partner moves up, my partner can help protect my feet by coming across and playing a ball through the middle. Versus if I go straight up the line, my opponents are gonna be able to easily come back to my feet, and there's not a whole lot my partner can do to kind of help protect me as I try to make my way forward in that transition area. That's all I got for you. Thanks for checking out the video. Don't forget to grab your screenshot summary of this so you can take it out to the court with you and practice on your own. See you next time.